Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Colanoa, Our Friends, Season 2, Episode 3. And right off the rip, guys, we've got a doozy for you with this one. I dropped a bean on my hand.
You getting those bean numbers up, dude?
Beans per capita right
Beans per capita.
On this episode, we have two special guests, one of which really has to urinate, so we're going to let him go soon. But we
let him go
have
so he can let it go.
Trevor Larson. He's been married for about a month. Trevor, I have one question. All right, that's all I need.
Cars 3.
Trevor, two things. One, not serious question. Well, kind of, and then one serious question. Number one, what is your favorite thing about marriage thus far?
Food. You liar. We all know the answer.
Yeah, we do know the answer. Yes. Yeah,
I don't.
I don't. Okay. Great idea.
That's good.
And then Trevor, what is one movie that you have watched with your spouse?
Oh.
We watched this movie called Red Notice with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Red Notice.
8 out of 10. And Ryan
Dwayne
Reynolds.
The Rock Johnson.
Ooh, it was fine.
Is that a
8 out of
newer
10.
one?
All right. Trevor, if you could give us your recommendations, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, which you said not to do, but you have to go pee, so I want to let you go. I know. I have a third. Give us a recommendation. Food, movie, or TV show, and music. Food, go.
Gushers.
You're saying that? I'm not kidding. At gas stations now, they sell big packs of Gushers, and I bought some.
Gushers are
okay,
great,
great.
dude.
Now,
They make me
Trevor,
gush.
movie or TV show?
TV show, The Last of Us.
Ooh, that's
Good
great.
recommendation.
That's been recommended.
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 And then
Rotten Tomatoes gave The Last of Us, I think, a 96%. So I'm impressed.
Lower than Toy Story.
It's good.
All right, and then Trevor, food.
I just said food.
You're right. You said Gushers. Music.
That's not a food.
I said music.
No, you didn't.
You didn't?
Get out of here.
Music is... I have no idea. I'm not listening to music. No, not Switchfoot. I said that last time I was on.
It's fine.
That
No,
one
what?
guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anything by Bob Barker.
He is
probably.
him.
Bob Barker.
Okay.
Didn't he
That
die?
is
Trevor
not
Larson, thank
nice
you. Go
and easy.
urinate,
Didn't he
and
pass away?
we'll have you
Yeah,
back
a while
sometime
ago.
soon.
Yeah.
Yes. And our other
Thank you,
second guest, thank you,
Trevor.
Trevor. Our other special guest,
I did.
the
highly-
ghostess. Jeez, the hostess with the mostest, the editor supreme, Christian,
The editor's
is joining us on this episode.
Hello, hello.
So
It's
now we
about
can
time.
Now we can ask him all his opinions.
Yes, we
True.
on
All the opinions
Star
are coming
Now, what we should do is just get into a topic that we'll know how to have opinions on, because now he can actually respond.
Dude, it's so true. I'll be editing episodes and like I'm cringing at the screen or like shaking my fists because I want to say something,
Yeah.
but I can't because it's in the past, you know,
Yes.
because it's a recording and this is a podcast.
That's
and
what it feels
I wasn't
like.
there.
That's what
Or were you?
powerlessness feels like.
Yeah.
See, this is how we make the world a better place. We put people into powerless situations so that we can then elevate them into empowered situations, which is what we've done with our editor, Christian. So,
They've given me power.
yeah.
First question, guys. Huge news coming out this week. We got, side note, did you guys see the Blue Beetle trailer?
I did.
No.
You sent it to me.
There's a Blue Beetle trailer.
There
It
is.
actually looks pretty good. It looked just like fun.
It does look fun.
Um,
It does look fun. I'll say it looks way more fun than
Shazam,
the
Black Adam.
Shazam and the Black Adam. Yeah, I didn't see. Okay,
I heard those movies were so bad.
I didn't even bother following up with
Nope.
Black Adam, so I don't know.
Nope.
But the Shazam trailer looked so bad. I like.
Have you heard about all the behind the scenes stuff that Trevor brought up, Dwayne, that he did behind the scenes that kind of make him just a dirtbag? Like
Dwayne Johnson?
Dwayne?
Yeah, so he forced Henry. He was trying to force DC's hand by getting Henry Cavill to redo the Superman thing.
Right,
Right.
which I heard
Trying
about.
to force their hand. And then trying to make himself the center of the DC universe. Black Adam, the villain. So that's kind of
He's
confusing.
not even like really a villain though.
No. So then he did that. He also blocked Zachary Levi's Shazam from being in Black Adam,
Really?
even though like Black Adam is a Shazam villain.
Is this rumor conjecture?
Well, so
or-
it was put out there, and then Zachary Levi shared a bunch of it on his Instagram story, and it was like, the truth comes out. And it's like,
the truth
no.
comes
so
out.
he posted it on his story and has talked about it a little bit, but there's probably more behind the scenes. But I mean, at
Sure.
the same time, like, kind
Is
of.
that the guy who plays Shazam?
Yeah,
Zach?
Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Dude, he's such a good actor. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
He's really
playing
good, actually.
in that Shazam.
Yeah, the first Shazam was
Films.
fun. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's
Yeah.
a fun.
I
movie.
enjoyed the first
I
Shazam.
am not going to see the second one probably.
No.
But
I saw the end credit scene. Wonder Woman shows up.
Yeah.
As Gal Gadot.
Yep.
Gal
Oh,
Gadot
yeah.
shows up.
Wonder Woman playing Gal Gadot.
Yeah, exactly. But I heard a lot of mixed controversy about it because James Gunn.
The
is
scene, the
heading-
end credit scene specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because why continue that DC universe,
Yeah.
quote unquote?
Yeah.
When James Gunn is already like rewriting it with the Flashpoint movie.
I think it's just kind of like tying it all together, like just putting a
Think
bow
so?
on
Sure.
things, making people
I can see
get
that.
one last show because like Ben Affleck, he's getting one last hurrah
Yeah.
as
Mhm.
Batman. He also it makes me so sad because he's such a
Giving
good
the B
Batman.
team one last go at bat.
Yeah, he said that he finally figured out how to play Batman well in this movie, and he's only on screen for like 5 minutes. And I was like,
Bummer.
That
"Man."
makes me so
Yeah, because
sad.
he's a great Batman.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he's accurate. If
Well,
he actually plays Batman. well.
Supposedly Flash.
Yeah, he's just
Supposedly-
He's like,
lying.
I feel like I crushed it, and we watch it, and we're like, yeah.
Supposedly Flash is really good, from everything I've heard and from
Dude, the
like people
trailer
who have
looks
seen
so
it.
The trailer
good.
does look good.
Yeah,
So
I'm just
good.
curious how they're gonna tie it all together. I'm hoping that James Gunn has been like, no, nobody's been cast as anybody, but being the internet, like it would have gotten out by this point.
Sure.
Sure.
I just want them to show who's gonna be like the new Batman or the new Superman.
Yeah.
Just like a little cameo, like, hey, we have. Even if they did the stupid Batman versus Superman thing, not really as dumb, but if they were like, they reset this universe and then you get to see who the new Batman or new Superman is, even if just
Right.
like in their Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne persona, so you don't have a costume. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want Jake Gyllenhaal to be Batman. I could talk about this all day long. I'm not going to because there's another thing that came out this week that I do want to talk about. New Spider-Verse trailer.
Yes.
3-minute
It's on
trailer.
my list.
Looks
It was long,
amazing.
dude. They
Looks
put a lot
amazing.
into it.
And you get stings of like what's up danger. And did you guys see like the
What's Up,
teasers from
Danger?
all over? I don't remember what it was, but it showed Toby's Spider-Man symbol, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man symbol, and then Tom Holland's Spider-Man symbol,
I
and
didn't
then
catch
ends with
that.
Miles. It's a different trailer.
Sure.
That they're like every hero, and it goes through showing their symbols and stuff like that. And then it's like one hero is looking to carve out his own journey. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man gets referenced in this trailer.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
he
Where
says
at?
he's not Oscar Isaac. Sorry, I can't remember his name. It's something Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah.
Is Spider-Man 2099. He
yeah.
he says, and he's like, you're not going to be a part of this. He's like, and don't even get me started about that nerd in Doctor Strange on Earth 199999.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did hear that.
That's
I
good.
didn't-
So
I like
that's
that.
a tie to that universe.
I only watched the trailer one time on my brief bathroom break between being a father and being a father. My children screaming at the door. My son banging.
kids love to mess with you when you're going to the bathroom.
Oh, they love it.
I don't get
It's
it.
a game for them. You're like, finally, I can slip away, and they're like, yes.
They're like, let me in. I need to watch you go to the
Let me in
bathroom.
the bathroom.
They just
Do it, I
Tessa.
ya.
Wait for me out there. I want to wait in here.
Yeah.
Like,
So
no!
Kian's fine, but Nora, anytime I go in the bathroom, she's like, she comes with me and then has to shut the door behind her, and then she'll keep opening it, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
can I just pee in peace? Can I poop in peace? Can I just shower, please?
Yes.
I just would like
Leave me
this
alone.
moment, please.
Your poops are peaceful?
Well, no. Well, actually,
Are yours not?
Christian,
Dude, I go to war every time I'm on the toilet.
Christian, someday when you have kids, you'll
The
realize
war
that
room.
any moment in the bathroom
Yeah.
is peace.
Yeah, honestly.
You'll realize. Anyways, this Spider-Man trailer, super great. It gives a little more context into why Miles looks like the villain in that first
Yeah.
trailer. You get a ton of other Spider-Men and women, and
So many.
I can't wait for this movie. It comes out June 1st.
Yeah, June is going to be amazing.
Oh, and The Flash is in June. Holy moly.
The Flash is in June. We got Spider-Man in June. If you play video games, Diablo comes out in June.
They're making a
4.
Diablo. Oh, the game is coming
Yeah,
out.
the
I see.
game. Yep. Final Fantasy 16 comes
Yep.
out in June. All of those look amazing, and I'm going to
Yes.
lose
Secret
so many
Invasion.
hours. Oh, they came out with the Secret Invasion
Trailer. I did
you
see the
watch
Secret
that?
Invasion trailer. Yeah, dude.
Did you watch it?
Not excited?
Noah?
Noah?
It looked
Honestly, it didn't really
here's
grab
the deal.
me
To
all that
me,
much.
it just looks like a whole lot more of what they've been doing in Phase 4, Phase 5, wherever we're at, where it's just like,
Mhm.
Sure.
Hey, you guys remember Nick Fury? Remember how he was in space? Look, he's back now.
Look, he's back.
Surprise.
I kind of hyped myself up when Nick Fury was in space.
Yeah.
Because there's a comic where Nick Fury starts the sword
Yes.
stuff
Yes.
instead of shield.
Yep.
And that was sword base,
Yep.
technically, where he was at. And I really wish they went that route with like old Captain America taking the helm of the Avengers and going that route, and they're just not. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing, man?
Yeah.
Nick Fury's been out of it since like before Infinity War. He only showed up in Endgame for like a couple
a
minutes,
little bit, yeah.
If that, just a minute. And
Those
then-
darn Sokovia Accords, man, they ruined the MCU. They took Nick Fury and the Avengers and split them apart.
True. I mean, it's going back to the first Avengers, man. Like they had it so right. And then they ended it so well with Endgame with some bumps in the road.
Oh,
but I just
man.
feel like it should have ended there. Personally, I know we could talk about like the Loki show and No Way Home.
Loki
and,
had
like,
me excited,
Those are
and then
kind of
Ant-Man
diamonds in
came
the
out.
rough. Personally, they're like diamonds in the rough, but they should have just ended it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's getting fatigued.
It does feel that way a little bit. It feels like their Infinity series, like phases 1 through 3, were
Mhm.
like gold. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Not all of it, but most of it. And now it feels like most of it isn't gold, but some of it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this to somebody yesterday. I was like, I feel like the thing Marvel has right now is now they have an established fan base, and they're still coming out with sequels, and so you're dealing with a new challenge. Where before, Marvel and the whole MCU is a new concept. Almost anything you put out, people are going to be like, "This is awesome." But now it's kind of similar to what Star Wars has to deal with. You have established fan base, established world, established characters
Nothing but hate.
who do nothing but hate. And I think Marvel is headed that way. It's like going to be harder and harder to please the fan base and make really good Marvel movies that cause people to be like, yeah, I want more of this. The other thing they have is like there's literally a whole new generation of like kids growing up watching these Marvel movies who are probably going to be like, these are awesome. And then their parents will make them go back and watch like Iron Man.
The actual good ones?
The originals, and they'll be like, oh, wow, these are like kind of old.
Or you'll have kids who are right, and Spider-Man is their favorite superhero. And
That's right.
They ultimately just have good for the most part. Other than Amazing Spider-Man.
Well,
this is a
Well.
No,
probably
I think of mainly like bigger movies that have come out. Like Kian,
sure.
he has now grown up watching Homecoming, Far From Home.
Oh,
No
I see
Way
what you're
Home,
saying. Yeah.
yeah.
and like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, guys, I've said it so much on this podcast, but Into the Spider-Verse is one of the greatest feats of like superhero movie of all
So
time.
good.
Ever.
It's so good.
Ever.
Guys,
It's
what
amazing.
will okay?
Get it?
So here's my question: with Guardians coming out, we'll tie back to the MCU.
Sure.
If that movie is bad,
Guardians 3?
if Guardians 3 is bad, will you guys really need to take like a those moments where you're going to get angry, so you need to remove yourself
need to
from the
walk away?
situation? Yeah. Will that, if Guardians is bad, will that be the thing that makes you take the MCU, put it in its room, and then take your time away?
Yes.
Maybe, depending on how Loki season 2 does.
It's out
If-
this year.
I think it's this year. If Guardians does bad, I will feel probably towards Marvel kind of like how I feel with Star Wars, which is I don't really care about any of the movies that come out. I'm just here for the Mandalorian.
Right.
So I don't care if Guardians tanks. I'll be like, all right, I'm not here for the movies anymore. But Loki was good, so can they do it again?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, so
then
you're like,
we'll see
I don't
what
care
happens.
about your movies, but Loki was good.
Yeah.
Yes,
For
I'm just
me-
eating a tortilla. Don't laugh at me.
Marvel isn't in the realm of Star Wars
It's
yet.
not that bad.
Yet.
Yeah.
If it keeps going the way it does, I'm sure it will. But the thing about Star Wars, and I'm sure we'll loop back to this, is that you have to nitpick what you actually like. The overall story is great and what they're trying to tell, but they
Mhm.
don't execute it well all the time. And so you have to nitpick what you actually want as canon.
You got to look real hard to decide
Yeah.
what you're excited about.
And if Marvel keeps going the way they're going, I'm just going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, that's my alarm.
That's my alarm.
Which
Look
is
at
the
that,
biggest-
guys.
the biggest,
Hey, I have to fold clothes, so I have to dip out.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
yeah.
guys
You
do.
go fold
yeah.
those clothes.
Me too. Guys, here's the deal. I know it's well, actually, I feel like it's only disliked by Shang-Chi was such a beacon where I was like, dude,
great.
okay, so these newer heroes.
I have to remember
I was like,
that.
these
Two now.
Oh, is it 2?
You just said his name.
No.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this movie, if they're doing new characters like this, and I'm going to be able to like watch it and
Yes.
like be interested,
Yeah.
Phase 4 is in great hands.
That honestly, Shang-Chi makes it easier for me to not come quick to Marvel's defense for all the other stuff they're doing, because
Right.
Shang-Chi made me go, they can still bring in new characters, new settings,
Right.
new style. Like they can still bring
Not
in
you,
new
Eternals.
and make you care about it, like, and do it well, right?
Have you guys watched the Eternals?
Yes.
You know, I did. Okay, so I watched it.
I forgot that existed.
So
I watched it once, and I don't really see all of the bad stuff people are talking about. Like, this is
Sure.
Marvel's first time they brought in a group of characters we've never heard of since Guardians.
Yeah.
It wasn't executed
Yes.
like Guardians. It was a much more serious movie
Was,
than Guardians
boring.
was. I will agree. It was kind of boring, and I didn't really know where they're going with
Also,
it.
does anyone
but
wanna
I
talk
really
about
like
the giant like Titan in the ocean that's just frozen there?
Yeah,
No one's gonna bring that
seriously.
up. Is that just gone?
I
Yeah.
think the stakes for the movie were kind of misplaced because
Yeah.
a lot of what was going on was kind of an Avengers level threat,
And
they were nowhere to be
Avengers were
seen. So yeah, that stuff I can get, but like
Yeah.
what they set up with like the Black Knight at the end, which was really cool, and
Yes.
like Blade comes in as
Yes.
a cameo at the end. You only hear his voice, but
Also, which Blade got moved.
yes,
Did
I
it
heard
really?
about that. Yes,
Bummer. The thing with Eternals, what I appreciated was it felt kind of like you said, Christian, like when they first came out with Guardians had zero connection to the rest of the MCU.
Mhm.
Like literally worlds apart in the universe, but also like none of the characters are interacting, and you could not perceive how are they going to bring Guardians in to the rest of these characters, and they
This is
didn't
space.
until Infinity War. Like
Right.
until the very, very end. And so I was kind of like, okay, Eternals feels like that. We have this
Mhm.
whole other thing that maybe they'll come and be a part of the overall MCU in the next Avengers movie or two.
Yeah.
But it was so serious. It was a different. That's the thing that I respect, but I don't know if it's paying off about
Also,
Marvel.
Superman gets
Right.
name
Is
dropped
there-
in Eternals.
They are
Yeah, it was.
Superman was.
Yeah,
he
Clark
walks up.
Kent.
No, they say Superman.
Was it Superman?
Yeah,
Did they really?
he walks up to the whatever it's called, the like dude who's now just living with his husband in like suburbia.
Oh
Walks
yeah.
up to his house and he's like, "Are you Superman?"
Oh
Or
yeah.
something like that. And he's like,
Forgot about that.
The second time they've dropped DC references in the Marvel
"Yeah," because
universe.
in the Christmas special they dropped Batman.
That's right.
Kevin Bacon goes, "I'm Batman."
Oh no, third time then, because Deadpool 2, Deadpool's like, "Is this a DC movie? This is so dark."
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Can they do that legally?"
That's what I was wondering too.
Man, we could
But-
talk about this all the live long day. I do want to ask, unrelated to Marvel and MCU, and even unrelated to Star Wars,
War Stars.
War Stars.
War Stars.
My wife accepted a new part-time job on the side, and her boss, who I like a whole lot now, just because of the question that she asked. I don't know this person at all,
Okay.
other than she emailed all the new people that she hired and said, "All right, guys, I need to know when you go into the battle command center of our job, what's your walk-on music, and send it to me, and I'm going to make a playlist for our staff."
Ooh.
So I need to know.
Wow.
I was like, I respect this person so much. I love this. I want to find my walk-on music. So, guys,
What's funny is you're gonna ask this question like I haven't been doing this since 2002 with professional wrestling.
I know. What's your walk-on music? We can do your wrestling music, maybe.
I mean, that's basically the same thing for me.
What's your walk-on music? If
End
you
of-
if you
end of
if you're
Heartache
like,
by Christmas
I'm
Music.
walking into the arena, it's my turn to put in some work, to win a fight, to do a match.
Toccata and
Yep.
Fugue in D minor.
No, mine's Canon Rock in
Yeah.
D.
Wow. No, mine is End of Heartache by Kill Switch Engage.
End of Heartache.
Ooh, Kill Switch Engage. Okay.
I don't know either of those things.
It is a great song. It opens. It just. I'll play it for you after this.
Nice.
It's good.
Mine is Rebirthing by Skillet.
I knew it was going to be Skillet.
I don't think they want to hear that, Noah, right now.
I listened to that album probably like 12 times through when I was in Hawaii in 2007.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I've been
out.
working out a lot to Foo Fighters, so mine would probably be Everlong
yeah.
right now.
Oh.
Dude, that song is so good. It just gets up slowly, kind of like me.
Kind of like me. I feel like you're the last.
Don't look at me
person
like that,
here to
Noah.
get up
Stop
slowly.
it. That's not what I meant.
What do you mean by that?
Hey, yo.
Jackson Dwoznik messaged me literally hours after episode 1 went live and said, "It's back!"
My dad was pretty pumped too.
He also asked me, he said, "I want to hear more about D&D because evil or not, question mark?"
Evil or not,
Dude,
Huh?
this is the original Lost episode. We hit on D&D.
Did we
talked
talk about
Stranger
it?
Things.
No. Oh, yeah, we did. We talked about Stranger Things.
oh,
and
like
whether or
the
not-
season 1 Lost episode, like from way back.
Not the season 2 Lost episode.
Yeah, feels bad.
Whoops.
No,
I get a text from Cole at like the day before it's supposed to go up. He was like, "Hey man, can you edit and post this at this time this day?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, dude." And then like 30 minutes go by, he was like, "So I deleted it."
I'm sorry. It was an accident.
The season 1 Lost episode though, that was
That was
an
almost
hour
2
and a
hours,
half
dude.
of Cole and I talking.
So long.
Wow.
It was a good practice one for us. I'm glad we're
Yeah.
we're trying hard now to keep it to like 35 minutes, and that's just achievable. Feels good. Enjoy your cookie.
Jackson Dwoznik and Ellie Rake also want to know about my time in show choir.
That's right. Let's answer the
roll a
the Dwoznik
die.
rake.
D&D.
Did you guys growing up? Because you guys grew up Christian. Did you grow up with a list of like shows and games you weren't allowed to watch or play? Because
Yes.
Oh, Noah says no with his face. No, your dad was a pastor. Is a pastor. Panda. He's a panda. What are you doing?
What are you gonna do, big guys?
Sit
It's
on me?
So there were obviously things that I couldn't watch, but like
But not because of magic.
no, Nickelodeon wasn't off base. I could have seen Harry Potter if I wanted to. Power Rangers wasn't off. Cartoon Network wasn't off. Disney Channel wasn't off.
Man,
Like-
lucky you.
None of that was off. The only things
Yeah.
that were things that like made sense, like horror movies or like
Sure.
R-rated movies or
Yeah.
things like that were off limits. But for the most part, no. So I guess judge my parents how you will, but there weren't anything that was like because
That honestly explains a lot.
you think of the way I am. But you see like there's just different, and we didn't really listen to like anything other than Christian radio. Like when I was with my sister, she used to get burned CDs, and so that's when I would listen to different stuff.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Burn
Burn
CDs.
CDs.
Mhm.
Take me back.
Yeah, so
Oh.
no, not really. Like they're the things that you would think of banning your kids or
Sure.
things like that from
Things that
watching.
you're like, that's not appropriate for a child to be watching.
Yes.
Not, this is spiritually
Mhm.
gonna get me a
Yeah, and
demon.
there were certain things
Can't
that I
watch it.
wasn't allowed to like play at times. Like
Sure.
the one that was the biggest was when I've still never played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas
Oh, yeah.
because I wasn't allowed to play it because I'm going to be careful with how I talk about this because it can edge on the side of naughty.
Inappropriate?
There was a certain thing that was featured in the game that got taken out that was then added back in a mod.
Yeah,
I know what
you're talking
And
about.
I'm just gonna
I
call
know
it
what
what
you're
it
talking
is.
about.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not even going to tell you what you guys is what it is because then you will potentially go look at it and you should.
Inappropriate object.
Yes, it's a mod where you could do something that you should only do in the confines of marriage. That's what we'll say. And
There it is.
So basically that was in the game. It got the game an NC-17 or AO, which like no video games have ever gotten
Yep.
an AO, an adults only game.
Yep.
So you had to be like 21 to buy it or something.
Yep.
Obviously, that will not make any money because nobody will buy that game then. So
Right.
they're like, "Oh, we need to cut this out to get it to an M rating." So they cut that out, but then it got modded back in on PC and a bunch of other stuff, and people
Oh,
found it in the files. However, that took hold of like the evangelical Christian world and like the more right-leaning side of things world. And at that time, really everything, because there was right and left. Obviously, there was Democrat and Republican always, and other political parties. But at the time, It just that took everyone by hold. So
Yeah.
I was not allowed to play that game just because you could do that in the game, even though you couldn't still do that in the
Sure.
game.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I convinced my parents to let me get San Andreas when I was... How old was I? I wasn't in high school yet, so it had to have been around maybe 12, 13 years old. And they really should not have let me. It was a crazy fun game in the way that Grand Theft Auto is crazy fun, but there's so much adult stuff in that
especially
playground.
in that one.
Mm-hmm. Especially in that one.
That one they really went into it. And see, here's the thing.
Still not as dangerous as unmonitored internet access, though.
Oh,
True.
yeah, absolutely.
San Andreas doesn't hold a finger to Google
or your cell phone.
or yourself, which I didn't have.
Cell
I had a Razor
phone,
for
your
forever.
PlayStation,
Anything
your
with a
T-
web
your
browser.
smart TV.
Dude, smart TVs, Oculus,
For
your
real?
Switch. Literally
like
everything comes
everything.
with a web browser now. None of it is protected.
Even
True.
so, for me, I still remember being able to play like Grand Theft Auto though. So I played. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City when I was in 4th grade, I think.
Yeah.
And because I remember distinctly, this is Noah's stupid brain. I left. I played co-ed volleyball. My dad and my
Dude,
sister were my coaches.
that
so I
sounds wimpy, but I love volleyball.
Yeah,
so
I
much.
played. I
Volleyball's
played
so much fun.
I played co-ed volleyball when I was in 4th grade, and I remember leaving volleyball practice or a game, and then going home and playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I have stupid brain where there's little core memories that I can like look at and be like, oh, I remember this so vividly.
Oh yeah, I will. That might have been not one of the first games, but one of the earliest games I remember playing and actually being sucked into the story. Because
Ooh.
San Andreas, it's an incredibly long campaign.
And they added RPG elements. You could
They
gain
did.
weight. You could make yourself chunky. You could make
Yes.
yourself slim. You could make yourself really muscular.
Yes.
You could change your hair. You could it was the first Grand Theft Auto where you could change clothes, the way your
Everything.
character looked, the facial hair.
You could
the-
swim.
Yeah,
You couldn't do
swim.
that. Like every Grand Theft Auto that came out after that was
No.
not
Let's talk
couldn't
about every
do it.
single video game you couldn't
Yeah,
swim.
seriously. You like
Dude,
Spider-Man
especially
2?
Spider-Man game.
Yeah, dude, you'd hit the
Could
water,
not swim.
You just respawn somewhere. It didn't even. It was like I
That's
don't have
why
time for your tomfoolery.
When Spider-Man PS4 came out and you could actually jump in the water and you didn't die,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is next gen, dude. This is like game changing.
This is.
Let's not
video
even
game.
talk about how you could swim in Mario 64. Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme of it cuts Mario 64 of him swimming next to fish and the fish move out of the way, and then it goes to when Call of Duty Ghosts were coming out and the developers were like, we came up with new technology so that the fish move out of the way when you swim next to him. And it was so funny. It was like the developers are trying to go super in depth on new technology and the fish and this AI,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to Mario from like 1990 something.
Yeah, dude.
My son. Sorry, and then we'll get back to D&D eventually. I don't know how they got it. Case study on ADHD.
No, we won't.
So, Kian loves. We don't have a Switch, and it kind of makes me want to get a Switch because he loves playing Super Mario Odyssey
Oh yeah.
at Target
Ooh, yeah.
because you can play it on the Switch.
Mm.
And it's like a little demo. But he loves playing Super Mario Odyssey. Is how he says it. And then he'll like look at me when he's like playing the game. And he'll go, "Let's go."
Let's
And
go.
it makes me laugh so hard because he's just the funniest
Yeah.
6-year-old on the planet.
That's awesome.
D&D, Cole.
Christian, you obviously grew
Is
up
it evil?
with
Is it evil? I need a yes or no now.
maybe.
Maybe? Question mark.
I have to-
Depends what you do with it.
I practiced responding to this question so many times in these past few days, and I was like, I gotta cut this down by 15 minutes because I have
Cole's
so
working
many
on a book
thoughts
about
here.
this.
Gosh. No, but Christian, you grew up with like many things that were like, you can't watch this, can't do this,
Right.
for Christian reasons.
Pokemon
Right.
could not watch due to
way you said that.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Could not watch. Digimon. Can't watch it.
Yep, couldn't watch Digimon.
Yeah.
Could not watch Harry Potter. Could watch Lord of the Rings though.
Yeah.
that was allowed.
That's part of my explanation into how my feelings on D&D, but we'll get there.
I couldn't watch iCarly on Nickelodeon.
really?
Growing up, yep. My dad would not let me watch it.
Lots of foot references in that show.
Actually, yes, he's not wrong. Going back and actually watching some episodes, I'm like, maybe my dad was right.
you also
It's like,
you also realize how big of a creep Dan Schneider is.
Dan Schneider's like the biggest creep
Oh,
ever.
really?
Yeah,
Was he the guy who played?
No.
he's the guy who produced the show. And
Oh.
directed the show,
Did
yeah.
you ever
Is
watch
he?
the Amanda Show?
No.
Okay, never mind. It won't make sense then. He was a character in certain parts of the Amanda Show or all that. But basically, gosh, this is dark. A lot of people think he's a massive creep. There's supposedly a thing in Nickelodeon shows called the Orange Curtain, which like behind the Orange Curtain, there was a lot of inappropriate stuff going on with kids and producers there to get them on shows and things like that. And so Dan Schneider, you go back and watch some of his stuff, and it's like there's a heavy emphasis on like underage like girls' feet or like underage kids' feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot. Like a lot.
Like, and then it cut to a lot of those scenes in iCarly where it shows Miranda and Jeanette McCurdy and like just doing all that stuff. It's really weird.
That is weird.
And then Jeanette McCurdy actually she stopped acting because of the show. And I think she was on like Sam and Cat or something like that afterwards. But she actually wrote a book and has a podcast now and exposed like everything that went on.
Really?
Yeah, and she was like completely emotionally abused.
Yeah.
Sexually taken advantage of, and it was just like really whack stuff. And I'm like, all right, maybe my dad was all right about this, you know?
Yeah,
maybe my parents actually know more than me as a kid.
Right? Yeah,
who
yeah.
knew. But yeah,
but it wasn't because of magic.
it wasn't because of magic.
Well, yeah, because like Pokemon and Digimon, was that just like they felt like it was magic adjacent? Or like,
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it.
Definitely magic, or like evolution.
Oh, yeah.
Evolving. Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Dude, you have no idea how intense some of the like the way more conservative. There was a grip on like really conservative evangelical Christianity. There's this vein of teaching that was coming out of the 80s and 90s that was like, it was like a hardcore, hey, we know what we believe, and whatever might come up here and challenge it, we are sticking our heels deep down into the ground and almost like we are not going to change anything about what we believe or consider that our understanding might need to grow a little bit. And you got some intense teaching that came out of it. Some of it, like there's value sometimes in doing that. But there were some other things that I think have been let go of by the next generations and probably should have been let go of. But sorry, I interrupted you a little bit.
No, you're fine. Like I can see that way of teaching and like where they got their beliefs from, but at the same time, I'm like, it's a show.
Yeah,
you know, it's a show for kids.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
And my mom would let me watch the stuff anyway. So my dad wouldn't, but my mom would.
Side note, Cole is laughing
Co-parenting's
extra hard about
Yeah.
this because Cole and Christian are brother-in-laws.
We are, yeah. If you guys
Cole
didn't know
is
that.
married to Christian's sister.
That's right.
Well, that's weird.
That's
weird.
Whoa, dude, weird. You're married to my sister?
Dude, so backstory, I have known Cole for over half of my
35
life. I turned 24 in a week, man.
We were friends when we weren't even people.
We were friends when we were just thoughts in heaven.
Yeah, we were best friends in heaven, and then
That's how I got to Kylie, actually. It was really just to hang out with Christian.
You know, predestination and all that.
Yeah, that's
oh my god.
Yeah, dude. I remember I met Kylie, and then I got to meet like your whole family, and then I got a Game Informer magazine because I was subscribed to Game Informer back in the day, and it had this one like half a page, or no, it was a single page feature. Check out this new game that's in development, literally
called
in
Minecraft?
dev, called Minecraft.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, I was like, "Whoa, this is sick!" And I went to the website on my mom's laptop, played around in. They didn't call it creative mode then; it was their demo, but basically.
Yep.
Bad creative mode,
Yeah.
where the water physics were awful, and whenever you had water and it moved to a new block, it didn't matter what block it was, it turned it into a new source block. So like water would go out of control. It was crazy.
Oh my god.
I found it and I was like, dude, this game is awesome. Figured out you could buy in dev for $15. So I did, played that, went over to Kylie's and said, Christian, you got to check out this game called Minecraft. And I think that's the first time I got you in trouble with your mom.
Yep. Because then my mom found out it cost $15, and I was like, "Mom, please, you gotta let me get this game.
Let me buy this and
so I
download
can play
this."
with Cole."
It's for a good reason, Mom.
Yeah. So and then you were like in the background and like just kind of cringing a little bit, and, like feeling bad.
Oh no, what have I done?
It's like I just met your family, and I'm asking.
Give us your condensed thoughts
Thoughts
on Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. My condensed thoughts on Dungeons and Dragons is there oh my gosh, this is so hard to condense. Is it pure evil? No, I don't think so. Is it evil adjacent? No, it is. It's a role-playing game where if you've played video games, you've actually played a lot more D&D than you realize.
True.
Because how old is D&D?
D&D's been around since I think like the 60s?
It came after Lord of the Rings was written in the 70s.
Yes,
Dang.
in fact, Lord of the Rings was a huge
Inspiration.
influence and inspiration for
Correct.
the
Wow,
development
Dungeons
of
and
the
Dragons confirmed Christian.
game.
J.R.R. Tolkien has co-wrote Dungeons and Dragons, everybody.
but actually,
After his
Confirmed
death.
religious.
Tolkien's world that he made influenced a ton of how D&D ended up being made. Here's the thing. A lot of Christians hear D&D, and what they picture in their head is not what the game actually is, and many who are like,
D&D, you
oh,
mean demons and darkness?
yeah, I've heard that thing is evil, and there's demonic stuff, and it's like black magic things, and blah, like, stay away from it. What's actually happening is, like, people are sitting down at a table to play a game, kind of like you would a board game, and somebody is saying, we're basically like, hey, let's tell a story together, and like you would act out a play. Everybody comes up with a character like you would in a game, like a Minecraft or like Grand Theft Auto, or that's probably not a great example for why this isn't evil. Just any game where you have a character,
Look,
right?
man, Grand Theft Auto is just teaching me about real estate. Okay, I own like I own
free real estate.
I own 4 houses. I own a biker clubhouse.
I smuggle cocaine.
You know, it's just business.
Dude, it's not that bad. It's teaching me economics. I go to the casino.
People try to take over my cocaine and I kill them. You know,
It's fine.
completely Christian.
Long story short, with D&D, it's a role-playing game where you're just acting out a story. You make up a character, and the person who runs the game, who's usually called the dungeon master or the DM or the game master, they decide what the rules are, and they tell you like how things work. And instead of having a controller or a computer, mouse and keyboard that
have your mind.
decides what happens, you use your imagination, and you're like, okay, you're like, me and my friends, we walk into a bar, and the game master's like, okay, in the bar there's like 4 monsters, and they're all going to try to kill you. What do you do
4
next?
goblins.
And then
Right.
you're literally like, okay, let's roll some dice to do math.
Mm-hmm.
Who goes first? Okay, you guy going first. Your character has this many stats. He's this strong. He's this fast. He's got this weapon. What do you want to do? You can you can move this much, act this much, whatever. And it's a whole lot of rules where people are like, ooh, this thing is evil, is in the D&D like official like world that's available to you should you choose to use it. And the rules and the way the game is played, there's lots of magic. There's lots of other like gods and divine beings that you can incorporate as characters or mechanisms into your game.
Yeah.
If you choose.
If you choose, and a lot of people, the fact that it's role playing, it feels very close to doing it in real life. And I'll hand that over to people. Like, playing a video game doesn't feel as risky as like me and my friends are sitting around a table and my friend is acting out their character they've imagined, and their character decides, I'm going to cast this spell. And if you're somebody who's like, I'm a Christian and I believe people practice witchcraft because they do, and that is bad, and it like they're like, are demons real? Yes.
Yes.
Is bad spiritual things real? Yes. Do you need to be careful what you do because you don't want to open doors to things? Yes, absolutely. All that is true. I can see why D&D is an uncomfortable thing. I grew up being taught that it was evil, and I have spent the last 4 years reevaluating that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who genuinely love Jesus, people I look up to and respect, who are like, I don't think this is evil. However, can you take it and use it poorly? Can you play a game doing things you should not be doing? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Can you play a game with people who don't care that you're a Christian and say, okay, now your characters are making a deal with a demon and cutting a covenant with whatever? Right. Yeah, you could get that. Somebody, if they wanted to make that into the game, absolutely. And I would say as a Christian, you need to know what your boundaries are, what you will and will not do. The reason I like to DM right now, which is a whole new experience for me, is I can create safe spaces where I know we're not going to venture into something that would make my conscience feel violated, or I can say, ooh, I feel like God's saying, hey, don't make that thing up and put that in your story. One of the things I'm struggling with right now is I'm trying to think of villains and bad guys and what makes them evil. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, ooh, I have to imagine evil. How
do I feel about this?
How do I feel about that? And what are my boundaries? And this is a gray area for Christians because there's no hard, fast rule about nowhere in the Bible is it going to say, okay, if you're writing a story, here's how evil you can imagine your characters, right?
Right.
Like Tolkien
Literally
and-
wrote Satan.
Yeah, like Tolkien wrote some crazy stuff. What were his boundaries and how did he feel about that? He literally, the Balrog is literally a demon.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings. Like, I rewatched it. Gandalf is like, it's a demon from an old ancient time, you know? And I'm like, literally, that movie that all these Christians love, and they're like, oh, there's magic in it, but it's okay because it's good magic. But Harry Potter's evil because it's all evil magic, you know? It's like, it's all magic, guys. And
It's all evil, man.
you gotta judge things by the same stick, and that's where I get frustrated a little with how people judge stuff. So it's not the best condensed explanation of D&D. I could talk about this for hours, but my overall view of it is you need to listen to what you think the Spirit is telling you.
Just like we've said before on this podcast, if like Stranger Things or a show that we recommend or say something about is going to mess with you,
Yeah.
then
don't
watch it. Like,
Correct.
It's the same way we even talk about like boundaries. Like we were talking about how everything now like you have an internet connection. So if you know, hey, I shouldn't follow this Instagram account because it's going to cause me to lead me to go to this or this, then use your best judgment. And ultimately, if you, like Cole is saying, if you're like a critical thinker on this and you're like, okay, I'm creating this campaign, but I have to imagine evil. And if I imagine evil, that lets these dark thoughts into my mind where I've been before. So like, use your best judgment. Use your best judgment for what you can tolerate, what you feel, and what you feel like the Holy Spirit is leading you to think about that issue.
Totally.
I grew up being told playing this game will open you up to dark spiritual forces, aka you're going to get a demon if you play this game. And the long and short of it is I don't believe that is true about playing this game, although I do believe there are demons and you can open yourself up to that stuff. What helped me the most, besides talking to lots of friends, doing a lot of prayer, trying to do a lot of research, asking myself hard questions like, hang on, if magic's okay in Lord of the Rings and it's okay in Narnia, when is it not okay? Like, let's get more specific about what our rules are.
Yeah.
And the things we thought are true, are they actually true? If I read Harry Potter, am I going to get a demon?
Will I open myself up to a demon?
What helped a ton was a deliverance conference with a student named Rob Reamer, who has done a ton of deliverance work, which was amazing. And he said, somebody asked him, hey, have you ever run into issues with Dungeons & Dragons? And he said, honestly, no. Like, only if somebody got way, way into it, which were his exact words. I took that to mean if somebody maybe gets obsessive with it or too consumed with it. He also said, here's the thing about Harry Potter. Like, I don't have all these people that need deliverance because they read Harry Potter. However, when Harry Potter came out, we saw a 1,000% increase in people practicing witchcraft and Wicca that year. So, like, it stands, you can make the argument, or at least ask the question, are these things good? You can't just go, oh, well, it's all harmless, because it's not necessarily harmless. But I think the problem is when people are saying, that's a bad thing, you can't have it in your life at all. And I think instead, it's messier, but the truth is some people, if they get involved in something like D&D or something like enjoying Harry Potter, the fiction that it is, might start also getting intrigued by the idea of what if I could have, like, what if magic was real? Like, how cool would that be? What if I wanted to play around with some of this stuff? What if I wanted to mess around with like a Ouija board? What if I just Google, are there spells? And if you do, there's some crazy stuff out there, and you for sure can slip into like messing around with occultic stuff if you're not careful, which is why I like wouldn't recommend like people playing games or reading stuff like that without having been prepped ahead of time. My daughter, like, we watch a ton of Disney stuff. You know what Disney is full of? Magic. You know what I regularly tell her? Hey, babe, this is pretend, but in real life, there are people who actually practice magic. They do things they call witchcraft. And in the real world, there are two kingdoms. There's God's kingdom and everything else is bad. Okay? God doesn't like real magic because real magic doesn't trust Jesus. Right? She needs to know that because that is important boundary building, giving you a filter for like, okay,
and
what's the difference
that's also
between fake and real?
That's doing what Taylor has said before. That's such a powerful statement to me. It's like, hey, you can't protect your kids from everything, but you can prepare your kids.
Yeah.
Yep.
In no uncertain terms. He might not have said it exactly like that, but that's
but we
like,
talk about that a lot. It's the different. You cannot protect your kids from everything,
Yeah.
so let's prepare them as best we can
Yes.
for what they'll run into. So
I do have a lot of thoughts on this, but we are running out
We're
of time.
way over time.
Way
yeah.
over our
So-
time, and we have another episode to record.
All right,
so-
quick recommendations. Here we go. Obviously, for me, watch the Batman. And I told Cole I was going to do this because I'm wearing a shirt that I found on eBay or Poshmark, and it's a Batman button up.
Oh, that's
And
actually
it's-
sick. I
yes,
like
it's
that.
rad.
You should put that on
Uh,
our Instagram.
I will. So you should watch the Batman because, again, I'm going to say it a million times. My rose-colored glasses are still on because I love the movie so much. But not just the Batman. I've already recommended that. No. You know what? Brush up on Into the Spider-Verse because the other one's coming out, and if you haven't seen
Beautiful.
it, this
That's
is a
good.
great
Go
reason
see it.
to watch it. It's so stupid good. Watch Into the Spider-Verse and it's so good. Food, you need to go to Texas Roadhouse and get whatever you want from their menu, but just overeat their rolls because, my goodness,
Don't like the rolls.
you're wrong.
Like,
They're
actually.
they're just so good.
Whose rolls again?
Texas Roadhouse.
Texas
You don't like the
Roadhouse.
rolls? Are they too sweet?
It's too sweet.
That's fair. I understand.
See, I love
me some Like, I want to eat bread.
Yeah.
I
Not
want to eat
cake.
bread, not cake. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Oh,
fair.
see, but I love
That's good.
I love their rolls.
Christian,
yeah.
you got 3 recommendations.
Well, hold,
Yeah, so how
hold
does
on,
this-
hold
I
on.
thought you just
Oh,
recommended
I didn't
rolls.
get my music.
Oh,
did.
go ahead.
No, I
didn't.
said movie.
You said 2 movies. Sorry.
Movie.
You guys
thought you
can't see it,
recommended
but I'm
music.
doing this world's smallest violin right now.
Dang it, Cole, you boggled my brain.
Music.
Listen to Laney. Just go listen to any Laney record.
Yeah,
I
you
probably
got it.
recommended
Laney,
that 600 times, but no, actually, specifically listen to their deluxe edition of their latest album, which is GGBBXX. That's legitimately the title of the album.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic, and like the first 8 or 9 songs on the album, it's just like banger, 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 banger. It's so good. Listen to Laney's GGBBXX. Christian, you need to give us movie or TV show or a book if you'd like,
Something for your eyes,
books.
something for your ears, something for your mouth.
Hey,
and your
that's good.
tummy.
Okay, so movie, the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy,
Yeah.
extended edition.
'Cause it's-
You cannot watch
Oh
theatrical.
my lord!
You cannot watch theatrical. Does not make sense. Don't do it.
It does make sense.
No,
It's just
it's
once
worse.
you
I
watch
haven't
the
seen the Lord of
extended,
the
it's
Rings
worse.
trilogy since they were in theaters,
No. They're legendary.
and I did
If we
see them
can't
in
talk about it
theaters.
next episode, I really want to because I love Lord of the Rings.
Sure, yeah.
2, was it music?
Sure.
Owl City just dropped a new album.
Ooh,
Really?
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely love it. Their song, Sons of Thunder, he really starts talking about God at the end,
Oh,
and it's
cool.
absolutely amazing. And he goes way more into rock and drums in this
Yeah.
album. Super sick. And then food. Shoot. What do I eat?
There's a pack of gummy worms behind you.
There is a pack of gummy worms. You know what? I just got these, not moist, it was most stuffed
Oh, dude.
Oreos.
No, is it-
they were
is it-
actually moist, and they were good. And there was a lot of stuffing in it, so go do that.
I'll double up on that if you can find them. They're pretty hard to find. The Most Oreo. If you
The
can find
most
those,
Oreo.
they're fantastic. They're Oreo, but it's like they ground up an Oreo and made it into the
most
cream
Oreo.
and then put it on the Oreo. So it's a cookies and
Oh.
cream on the Oreo.
It's an Oreoception. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's really
It's
good.
an
Cole?
Oreo fractal.
Movie or eyes, ears, tummy.
Eyes, ears, tummy. Tummy, eat a deviled egg.
One.
Yeah, just one. They're delicious. Eyes.
I wish there was a movie called Eyes.
I had something and now I forgot.
There's a song called Eyes by P.O.D.
That's. Oh, I was gonna say something and now I can't remember.
It could be a movie, TV show, or music video.
Oh, you know what? Go see the Super Mario Brothers movie because it's out.
Oh.
Hey!
that came out today,
Yeah, I know.
It did? It's out?
which is weird.
It
It came out
came-
on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's weird. It came out.
I really wanna
But by
see
the
it.
time this episode drops, it'll have been out for at least a week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, go see the Mario Brothers movie. I don't know if it's good or not, but I hope it is.
I hope
And
it is too.
Rotten
ears.
Tomatoes says it's not.
Did it really? Did they finally get the?
Rotten Tomatoes? Supposedly, the
I
tomato
have
score is
checked
like a
the Rotten
46%.
Tomatoes review every day, and they have not posted the review at all.
Rotten Tomatoes is hit or miss with their reviews, man.
Sometimes.
I just
Ooh,
can't.
Right now, according to this, Mario, the audience score is a 97%.
There you
Okay.
go. That's good enough
The
for me.
tomato meter is a 54.
Yep.
Oh no.
97% audience score. Audience score is all I care about.
I'll
I can't
I'll
trust
say
the
more
critics.
later. I'll say more later.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Last Jedi.
your ears. I would say, go listen to Everlong by Foo Fighters or Pain by 3 Days Grace.
Pain.
And that's all I got.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to Season 2, Episode 3, and we'll catch you next week, a.k.a. 30 seconds for us. Next week. In
Next
episode
week.
4. Who knows what'll happen? Maybe the Phantom Menace will return. Just kidding. It'd be A New Hope. I know. Not a Star Wars fan.
That's fine. Good try. All right, guys.
Peace out.
See ya.
Bye.